Good morning, kings, queens, and they the emperors. Today we are going to show you a funny deck. This deck is by no means good. It is by no means something you should bring to a spring fest, a big event, but hey, it works a lot better than it has any right to. This deck is Maelstrom Gyze, and what it aims to do is use its great ability to search out copies of Maelstrom to thin through the deck so that you're hitting your triggers more consistently. To those of you who are unaware of the Gyze deck and its playstyle, this is what it does. Starting off with our starter, Gyze. When you flip up Gyze, it is a grade 0, your starter. When you ride on top of it, it is sent to your G-Zone face up and changes the effects of all of your triggers. You will no longer be getting power from your triggers, and that changes things significantly. However, the effects still activate. So you'll still be drawing cards, you could still give criticals, you could still stand, front triggers don't exist, and that's about it. However, once all of the Zeroth dragons have been bound, or 5 of them at least, you are able to go into his grade 4 form, calling out all 5 Zeroth dragons as rear guards. All of them cannot be removed from the board, cannot be targeted, and during your next draw phase, you deal 1 point of damage for each Zeroth dragon. It is an alternate win condition, effectively. Now onto the actual deck and what it plays. We are playing 4 copies of each Maelstrom. Maelstrom Reverse and Glory Maelstrom are only there for the Maelstrom name and for the fact that they have an Excel marker. They can be replaced with any other Maelstrom, so I will not be going over their effects as it is not necessary. However, Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom is very important to this deck and how it plays. Its first Vanguard skill is Counterblast 1, all of your front row units get plus 3k. Its second skill is also a once per turn. When your rear guard's attack hits a Vanguard, if it is the 3rd or 4th battle of the turn, discard 2 cards from your hand and stand this unit. It doesn't lose drive checks, allowing you to check more triggers so you could get into Gyze faster. Next up, we are playing 1 copy of Tyr Knight Valera. She's new, she draws cards, she retires things, and honestly, she's mostly here so that we ride grade 2s more consistently, because we only play 9. Next up, we are playing 4 copies of Drifting Flow Fencer. On place on Vanguard or Rear Guard Circle, he is able to check the top 7 cards for a Maelstrom. And when he attacks, if it's the 4th battle or more, and you have a Vanguard with Maelstrom in the name, he gets plus 15k. He is a Choral Assault, except he also searches Maelstrom. Next is Press Stream Dragon. Counterblast 1 and discard a Maelstrom from your hand. Your Vanguard gets plus 10k and plus 1 drive. That interacts well with our grade 3 Maelstrom, so that when it restands, it has triple drive again, so you're checking 6 checks in 1 turn, and potentially 6 triggers if you're thinning fast enough. Onto the grade 1s, we have 4 copies of Bubble Ball Corporal. On Vanguard or Rear Guard Circle, when this unit attack hits, or the unit it boosted hits, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, reveal a Maelstrom, add it to your hand. Next up is Blue Wave Soldier Baragios. Baragios is our standard grade 3 searcher. You play him down, check top 5, add a grade 3. And during your turn, if you have 4 more rested rear guards, he gets plus 5k. He's another way for us to just search Maelstroms. And we've been having a lot of on-hit effects, and this last card is how we make sure we're using them. Radiate Assault. Rear Guard Circle when placed. Soul Blast 1 and for the end of the turn until the battle this unit boosts, when attack hit effects do not need to hit to activate. Then you could put a Maelstrom card from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck and draw a card. It's very important that we're also able to put Maelstroms back into deck, and I'll get into that later. Lastly, for the trigger lineup, we are playing all draws except for, the heals. It's also important that we are playing the draws from Overdress. They have an additional 5k shield, which is very good for us. This deck can't do as much protecting because we play a very heavy grade 3 lineup, so we need as much shield as we can get. So 4 draw PGs, 3 standard draws, 4 of the overdress draws, 4 grade 3 heals, and 1 Stoicheia overtrigger because it is also a heal. Onto the G-Zone. So the G-Zone is a little wacky. For those of you who don't know this, Gyze allows you to play all the Zeroth dragons because of his effect. Every time you activate a trigger, bind a Zeroth dragon. And that's how, you bring out Gyze. So, you don't need to really know any of their effects, because you won't stride any of them. Even though we play Megiddo, you will never resolve it, and you will never need to stride it. The most important stride in this deck is actually Disaster Maelstrom. So, when you stride Disaster Maelstrom, and when it attacks, you are able to flip another copy of itself face up. If you have a heart with Maelstrom, you could search your deck for any Maelstrom. And what makes that important is you get to set up Ultimate Stride, because when you stride into Gyze, you still have to pay that cost of discarding exactly the card that's on your Vanguard circle. This way, if you have, let's say you're on Glory Maelstrom, you could search Glory. But what if you're out of Glories in deck? Radiant Assault could put them back. And because this happens in the battle phase, you can make sure Radiant Assault triggers first. For the other cards in the G-Zone, we are playing 1 copy of Flood Hazard Dragon. Its first effect can't be resolved for us, however, its second effect is Generation Break 3, and it gets Drive +1, and the front row blue wave units get +2k. The only blue wave we play is Baragios, but it could come up. The last stride unit we actually go into is Blue Storm Steel Dragon Genbolg Dragon. Genbolg's on place allows you to check the top 7 cards and call 2 as rest. That's really good, because unlike every other searcher in the deck, this could take out anything. So you're able to thin through for cards that we normally can't search for if we can't hit our Gyze by second stride or first. On top of that, his skill allows you to, on attack, if you have 6 rested rear guards, you're able to retire 3 units, and you are able to draw 3 cards. It is for every 2 rested units, you retire 1, and if you drew 3, you restand 2 units. It's great. He does a lot, and it helps. Lastly, onto the G-Guards, we play 2 copies of Galphelia. Galphelia is one of the most important G-Guards in the deck, and not because you guard with her. She is the thing that makes sure you are able to countercharge in case we run out of CB because we keep using Press Stream, because you will be using it every chance you get. Her Guardian's Circle skill is wave 2nd or 3rd, she gets plus 5k shield, so she is a 20k shield during specific battles, but more importantly, in the G-Zone, Soul Blast 1, you could turn her face down and choose a card in your damage zone or a card on a circle and turn it face up. We play 2 copies of Ice Barrier Dragon. It is a 25k shield, it keeps us safe. Granted, it's only on waves 1 and 4. Between Galphelia and Ice Barrier Dragon, they kinda cover our bases, so it doesn't really matter which attack it happens, you just gotta be careful which one you're using. And lastly is Ioannis. Ioannis is the best Aquaforce G-Guard, bar none. When placed, Generation Break 1. Counterblast 1, choose a face-down G-Guard, and turn it face up. Choose up to 5 rear guards, and they get Resist, cannot be hit, and this unit gets plus 5k shield for each unit. Ioannis could easily get to a 45k shield. On top of that, it's able to make sure your units, anything that could search, anything you want for attackers, will stay on the board. Anyway, that about does it for the deck profile. I don't really have much else to say other than, again, this is a meme deck. It's by no means supposed to be some top tier best deck in the meta. I just thought, hey, we search a lot in this deck. This could be funny. And I tested out with some friends a bit, and the amount of times I actually strode into Gyze by first or second stride, it was surprising. I think it was close to 4 times out of like 8 games. It was a lot. A lot more than it should have. Anyway, thank you for staying this long and watching. Feel free to, I don't know, like, comment, subscribe, all that. And I'll catch you around. Peace.